Howdy guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is your host Maverick, bringing to you episode 20 of Steinsgate. And this is a continuation viewing. I'm watching this back to back with episode 19, which I would say is a pretty good decision, considering episode 19 really explained nothing to us overall. We're still not any closer to understanding Moeka as a character as we were before that. So hopefully that will change in this episode, and maybe we can learn just a little bit more about what Moeka stands for, her backstory, should we feel sympathy for her, as well as what the heck these Rounders and FB are, and what it ties in with CERN and the whole story. So, without further ado, let's just get into the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Okay. The coin locker. If I recall, later on during the right after the timeline where Ruka sent his email, we see a wandering Moeka in the streets, wondering, saying, where is it, right? How come it's not there? So... what? Which one? So, find FB. Oh. Fancy meeting you here. Okay. So we're actually beginning the Moeka route. He's been neglecting Mayuri so far, hasn't he? Aww. Did it? Do-do-do. Okay. So they're just sitting here waiting. Alright. This is such a weird dynamic. Who is this FB character? It's gonna be someone we know, isn't it? Didn't you say you didn't know? Oh, and it's gonna change hands. Back to Shinjuku? Oh no, wait, not back to Shinjuku. Never mind. From Akihabara to Shinjuku. Okay. And then back to Akihabara? Yeah, that was Akihabara. The Denki Street. What? What? Oh, he's still there. To someone else? Is it? You guys remember a few episodes ago during Suzuha's story, I said I feel like there is some sort of similarity between Suzuha being obsessed with the IBM 5100 and Noika. I wonder. I wonder if this is all related somehow. Narita Airport. Mr. Brown? Mm-hmm. Does he actually know anything? Oh, he knows. The brown tube. Okay, so he's FB. What? So she's really that gullible? What? Wait. This doesn't... Okay, so he was recruited into. Okay. I really don't know what this. Wow, just like that? What in the actual. Because of Nige, he can't. Holy shit. Well, back to time leaping we go. You're not dead yet? Wow. Yeah, but they. Oh, they can remote control it now? Well, that was like. Huh? Well. But. How. How are they gonna fix this situation? Okay. Yeah, they don't know anything. Mhm. Oh. So that's the choice. Oh shit. Oh man. Okay, shit's about to hit the fan, right? And with the revelation at the very end of this episode, we can finally confirm that the ending is going to be a Kurisu route versus Mayuri route kind of situation. At least that's what I'm interpreting it to be. I still believe that there's probably a Mayuri route and a Kurisu route, and that is probably going to manifest itself, I'm guessing, by the end of episode 22 to the beginning of episode 23. In fact, since episode 23, I already know there's a split there in regards to an alternate timeline that ties in with the story of Steins Gate Zero. I don't know what the story is, but I'm assuming that it's probably the split there is probably the difference between going down the Karisu route versus the Mayuri route, right? So there we go. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Hey, but like I said, I did get the feeling that it would come down to this, although I never quite made the connection with the very beginning of this series where Kurisu was first stabbed, right? And the reason being that I was set on, my mindset was that Mayuri was going to die no matter what, and so it didn't really matter even if they went back to the original timeline. I thought that they still had to change even more things or other things in order to get the end result that they wanted. Like, I mean, technically speaking, there's no guarantee that even if they went back to the timeline where Kurisu got stabbed and killed, Mayuri would survive the month of August, right? We have no evidence of that. It's entirely possible that these things are not correlated at all. But with what what the anime is currently portraying it to be and whatnot, I have a sneaking suspicion that that is probably going to be one of the major decisions that Okabe is going to have to make. And well, what exactly is he going to choose? I don't know, right? Like I mentioned, there is only going to be one true ending. My instinct still tells me it's going to be Kurisu, just because, just because of instinct and through all the rom-coms and the harems that I've read and watched before, I just get the gut feeling that it's going to be Kurisu. But it could entirely be Mayu. I could be completely wrong, right? So we'll see when it comes down to that in the next upcoming episodes. I'm assuming that the next two episodes we're going to go with, well, probably gonna spend time with either Kurisu or Mayuri, and then at the very end decide if Okabe is going to continue with this girl's route or finish this route in a sense and change to another one where we get to the true ending. But before we get to that, though, let's talk a little bit more about this episode, and more specifically in regards to Moeka and Brahm's character. Now, I'm going to be honest here. Out of all the episodes I've seen this so far, these two episodes were... I really don't know how to make of them, and I especially don't know what to make out of their personalities. To me, it feels a little bit contrived, if I'm being completely honest. I don't really quite buy into the backstory of either of them. Like, this entire, oh, they took me in while I was young, and then so I did this and that, and blah blah blah, I was forced to. I don't know, man. It's... I mean, even the sci-fi parts, like the time travel stuff, I could suspend my disbelief for that because that is the entire subject of the anime, right? But here, the portrayal of these characters, it just feels unreal somehow. Even though, technically speaking, these two characters are more intertwined with the main storyline than, for instance, the other characters such as Ruka, such as Ferris, such as Suzuha. Their stories were at least more believable, their motivations and whatnot. This one, I'm still kind of on the fence about. And they changed allegiance rather quickly, right? And rather conveniently. Like, come on, Mr. Braum, he, in an alternate timeline, was completely capable of sending Moeka and the others directly to kill Mayuri and abduct the others. So how come in this one, he suddenly has a change of heart and decides to suicide, right? Well, I guess technically speaking, in this timeline, he met the acquaintance of Suzu, and not within the one where he actually ordered Moeka to kill the others. So I guess there is this difference in it, and okay, so fine. Maybe I can let Braum's character off the hook in regards to that part, but still, you have to consider that he's been following orders from this organization for what, at least. It seems 10 plus years at the very minimum now, and then all of a sudden he decides to betray them and in fact endanger his little girl's life, and for what? I don't really see Okabe or the others having a very compelling argument to go against and convince Braum. So, like, where did that come from, right? But anyways, that's, I guess, like I said, maybe it can partially be explained by the appearance of Suzuha in his past, in Braum's past. But Moeka, on the other hand, like, how do we explain her change of heart? Like, she was apparently willing to completely listen to FB and whatnot in all the other timelines. So how come in this timeline she decided to work with Okabe in the end, right? I don't know. Like, I don't really know what a better solution would be. I'm just saying that it just feels kind of contrived, kind of forced to me, and I kind of wish they could have done it better, although how to do it better, I'm not entirely sure. Now, my original theory going forward to this was that the plot twist was going to be that Moeka, was actually inheriting the will of Suzuha in some sort of way, right? So maybe, Suzuha was obsessed with trying to get this IBN 5100, and so in the end, they were actually all working towards the same thing, although it got twisted and misinterpreted somewhere along the lines, and that was how the situation came to be today. So apparently that did not happen, but I don't know, for me, that would have been a much more interesting story than what we see for these two episodes. Like I said, I'm not gonna, really tear it apart or anything. I just feel like it's not my, these two are not my favorites, so let me put it that way. But anyways, beyond these two, let's see, what else do we have? So I guess just next episode we're going to start, oh, actually, sorry, hold that thought. I also did look a little bit more into Moeka's background because I feel like they still didn't really explain much. I was trying to dig up and see if there's any better reason for her to be listening to this anonymous group, if you will. But so apparently there is not a Moeka ending route, and her backstory apparently is in a spin-off adaptation or whatever. So, canon, not canon, I don't know, but it was kind of disappointing that they couldn't expand on her character a little bit more, especially since she is doing some pretty unbelievable things, all things considered, within this series. So, that was episode 19, episode 20. Next up, we have episode 11, 21, 22. As I said before, I will be pre-recording those, since I am going to be on a trip next week. And I feel like episode 22 is a pretty good place to stop off, right? Right before we make the big decision. Right before we see Okabe's big decision, and also right before I make my big decision on what order to watch Steinsgate in. But anyways, like I said before, we'll get to that when we get there. For now, I'm going to continue on and record episode 21, 22, so I will see you guys later. Until then, bye-bye.